What's up guys, Jordy here and welcome back to the channel. Now today I thought I'd bring a video on Battlefield 5, and yes, it is a settings thing again, but it's just going over a few quick settings that people generally miss or I get quite a few questions about on stream quite often. So I'm going to be in the test range testing these just as it's easier to show you how they affect your gameplay and how well they work. So the first question I get quite a bit is to do with ADS FOV. Now that is in obviously video and it's here. Now when you have this off, you get a lot more zoom, for example. So let's say these barrels are on the edge of my screen there on the right hand side. This is with ADS FOV off, so you get a lot more zoom. Now if you turn something like this on, those barrels obviously aren't on the edge of my screen anymore, and I can see a lot more to the left and the right, which this helps with seeing enemies, actually, you know, your surroundings a lot more, and your recoil is quite generally a lot less, which I can show you right now. So that compared to something like, you can still control your recoil, but it is a lot harder, and you see a lot more of like the side to side recoil and the bounce as well. Now, heading into another key tip, which you'll see generally in a lot of my stream gameplay or a lot in the clips that may be in the video right now, is the size of my minimap. Now, where you can change this is it's obviously in the options. Gameplay, you stay on basic, and then you come down to minimap. Now, I prefer having this on 133. You can change this to 150, and obviously you can see it becomes a lot bigger, but I think generally it is a little bit too big for me. I find 133 a nice mix where obviously, you know, you can make it 100, but then for me that's way too small. So I find 133 quite in the middle. I'd recommend this, but this is something you can play around with. This just gives you a general, you know, it makes your minimap big so it's easily seeable. Now the other key thing is the on-foot zoom radius, this being 150. This determines like how much zoom you have on the lower left. So for me it zooms out 150 meters like in a radius on the minimap, which is quite a key thing. Now another tip in regards to that would be it's a key binding, which I'll show you now. It's in where do I find this? Control schemes, custom button mappings, and I have it on circle. It's this zoom minimap toggle full map hold. So I have this on circle, so when I tap circle it zooms out, as you can see on the bottom left now. This is just nice if you want to see, you know, more of the map or literally like the whole map, and this just helps you with general surroundings as well. Now a third tip, which I generally can't show you because I don't have a lot of vehicle clips and it's hard to show in like a clip format, is to do with aim assist, and it's on vehicles as well. Now, I'd recommend in vehicles turning all aim assists off. I've heard this from a lot of vehicle players, and me generally in the little bit of vehicle experience I have, I do find it a lot easier. Though I could be wrong, and if anyone plays vehicles, let me know. This aim assist will help a bit. I know snap can be quite annoying, but turning these off generally gives you a lot more control over the turrets, especially in tanks and jeeps, maybe planes as well. But I've generally found this in my couple of hours that I have in vehicles a lot easier to control where I'm aiming as well. Now, another tip that I have is due to visibility and how you can see enemies a little easier while aiming down sight, and generally just stuff your screen not being as cluttered. Now, the first setting that you need to make sure you have is character lighting. It's normally default on, but this is something you may have turned off. So where you will find this is in gameplay, advanced, and it's here. You need to make sure character lighting is on. Make sure your camera shake shell is also at 50. This just produces like a little backlight behind the characters that are in the game. I don't have someone to test this on, but it just makes the enemies a little bit brighter when in dark corners. So this is something that you should generally experiment with, but keep it on, literally always on. Now the other tip in relation to that is in gameplay basic, and it is the default icon opacities. Now what this does is it makes it so when you ADS certain stuff like flags, it doesn't clutter your screen. Now this is something that I will show you in game now. So here we are in a game of Rotterdam. Obviously, as you can see, the objectives E, D, B, C, A scatters around the map, and when I ADS with the current settings I have, the flags disappear, so you can't actually see many icons on my screen, like the flags and stuff disappear. So if you were aiming at someone and it, like, let's say behind this pole, the deflag disappears and I can see that. So what you want to do is go to gameplay, basic, and you need to scroll down to default icon opacity. Now I lower the objective to 50, but the ADS ones are generally the important ones. I have objective on 0, so obviously when I ADS it's not visible, where if you have it on, let's say, 50, it's still visible, so it still can like get in your way and harm your aim. So this is something that I would recommend you actually turning off. It'll help you a huge amount, especially when fighting on objectives, is where you'll notice it more. I turn friendly down to 25%. It's the same key principle. It just lowers the icon just so you can see it. Enemy on 100. And the gadget and danger is something that you need to experiment with. Gadget can be a little tricky because it involves grenades, so you may miss grenades quite a little bit. And then a lot of the other stuff is just generally running around. But those are some key things just to shore up what you can actually see on your screen. Now, for another key tip, is kind of involves visibility a little bit with brightness, and just generally making your screen a lot more clear with stuff that you don't need. Now, where you find these settings is obviously in options, video, and you want to turn off all this stuff. So the chromatic aberration, film grain, vignette, and lens distortion. If you have these on, obviously vignette makes it a little darker, and lens distortion doesn't really help with ADSing, and it just overall makes the game a little bit more grainy, a little bit more filmy. It will, I don't know, make it feel like you're in a film maybe, but in terms of actually seeing things, it makes it a little bit harder. So I recommend turning all these off, along with ADS depth of field. This generally only affects scopes, not iron sights. So when you ADS, around the scope will go blurry. This is something that's you don't really want, and you want to turn this off. It'll help you massively, along with motion blur. This makes me actually motion sick, so if you feel sick playing this game, maybe it's this. So I turn this off as well. Just generally improves your overall experience on the game. And lastly, a setting that many people, I don't know, do. It involves button assignments. It helps a lot more with sniping and where you can hold your breath with scopes. It improves, at least for me, it makes it a whole lot more fluid and a lot easier. You don't have to press as many buttons at once while sniping. Now, where you want to go for this is in options, controls, to your control teams. Make sure it's on custom. And what you want to do is you want to set your breathe setting. So it's we're going to find it here because me, a big noob. You want to set your breathe setting to the same steady scope. Here it is. You want to set this to the same button your ADS is. So for me, it's L1. And this just makes it so when you ADS, you automatically hold your breath. It sometimes is a disadvantage, but I found this so useful in being able to snipe a lot easier and a lot more effectively, and it will help you focus a bit more on aiming rather than holding your breath. Now, if you have any questions or any maybe further tips for anyone that's watching this video, feel free to leave a question, and I'll try help you, or someone will try help you as best as possible. But if this video has helped you or you enjoy the content, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It'll be greatly appreciated. But like I said, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys in the next video or stream. Peace, enjoy your day.